Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. You know, it's your business to be taking care of your personal financial future, you know, and really to be thinking in terms of your long-term health. And so I'm delighted to have Brian Gordon on the program, and he's a regular on the program. And he's got a very important company. I'd like for you, Brian, to go ahead and kind of give us the elevator speech of what you do over there at Mega, because I think it's so crucial, and I think most Americans are underprepared. Go right ahead.
Right, yeah, absolutely. Most are pretty underprepared for it. What MAGA does is we work from coast to coast, working with families, working with financial advisors, accountants, attorneys, you know, centers of influences, to help people talk about the subject of long-term care and how they're going to address paying for this subject. And we feel, in working with a lot of the families that have actually used the policies that we help them obtain, is what we like to see them go through is when something does happen, is that this process becomes a lot easier for them. And whether the folks are buying insurance to help cover themselves or they are looking to self-fund the long-term risk for themselves, it's always important for the family to have a plan in place to know how they're going to help pay for it.
You know, one of the things we haven't talked about are the canopy, if you will, the panoramic view of the various offerings. You know, I think a few years ago, well, maybe 10 or so plus, the options were pretty limited when it came to long-term care. But they're pretty advanced now. So why don't you start off by describing exactly what long-term care coverage entails, and then kind of give us a panoramic overview of all the options.
Absolutely. Well, the policies are designed to cover people in their home, and that's obviously the most important part of the plan, is allow us to stay in our home, to be cared for there in a very familiar surrounding. If somebody should need care in an assisted living facility, the policy covers that as well, and it also covers in a full-blown nursing facility. And it covers for a variety of different things, some respite care, some hospice care as well these plans can cover. But what we're seeing today is that roughly about 70% of all claims that are being paid out in a person's home or in an assisted living facility. So we don't really see people going to that more institutional type of a setting. And when I first started in the business and my father started in the business, the policies strictly only covered the nursing home. And obviously those plans were a lot more unappealing to people. And nowadays we have what are called comprehensive plans.
Yeah, so Brian, go into details about those more comprehensive plans.
Absolutely. The comprehensive plans, what that does is it covers the home care, the assisted living, as well as a full-blown nursing facility. And a person does not have to pick what level of care they want to use the policy in. When they become sick or whenever they need the care for themselves, it becomes a decision between their doctor and their families and themselves to determine where they're going to be cared for in that situation.
Yeah. So when did these comprehensive plans become more prominent? It seems like they should have been in the game even earlier, because let's face it, home care, for example, a lot of the other options can be more affordable than being in a nursing home.
Absolutely. Well, in some of the earlier generations, they did offer home health care riders on the policies, and we were fortunate that even in around the early 90s, we had clients that were actually buying those types of provisions in their plans, but we also had a lot of clients that didn't want to spend a little bit of extra money to put that into the policies. The comprehensive plans, what that has done is it doesn't give the client a choice, that policy just addresses all levels of care, and whatever they should need at the time, they can go ahead and use the policy to cover that level.
Yeah. And so, and there's also various ways of paying for the policies, aren't there?
Well, in the traditional set, remember there's two types of long-term care policies available today. You've got the traditional plans, which have been around for about a little bit over 40 years, and that's where you pick a daily benefit or a monthly benefit, a length of coverage, an elimination period, and a form of inflation and protection for yourselves. And those are traditional policies. You have the asset-based, the life and long-term care policies, where you have a life insurance component on those policies as well, and it also has a true long-term care rider on it. And those policies, the life and long-term care, they do offer some options and as well how to pay the premiums. They can pay it anywhere from a traditional pay where they just pay the premiums every year to a 10-pay a 20-pay, and as well as a single pay are available for those policies. What everyone needs to really focus on is really having a plan, create a plan for yourselves and your families so that when something happens to us, the family is not already, we want families to make good decisions. We don't want people to make rash decisions and put financial concerns out there. So have the discussion with your family, have a plan in place, and make sure you work with someone that has a variety of different options. And we always say make sure you're actually working with a long-term care specialist that actually has a policy for themselves also and their families. Is MAGA Limited, and the website is www.magaltc.com.
Thanks so much. That wraps up today's show. Do want to remind you the show continues 24/7 at priceofbusiness.com, and our best content here shows up over there at usdatingreview.com. Have a great day and stay on this station.